So what I did was, this is how I make bone broth. As you can see, hopefully in this crock pot, there's a bunch of bones that have been cooked down. So what I do in my family is when we eat bone-in foods, specifically chicken, I save the bones, I throw them in a bag in the freezer until I've accumulated enough. And I have a really large crock pot. So the bones came to the top of the crock pot just enough so that I could put the lid on. And then I put enough water in, not to completely cover the bones, but so that I knew that when they started to cook down, they would be submerged. And I added, I don't know, about a tablespoon or two of apple cider vinegar, and then a generous amount of sea salt. So at least a tablespoon. And then I turned it on low, and this has been cooking since Monday night. And now today, or excuse me, Sunday night. So now today's Tuesday, and it's time to extract it. Now, the reason that you use sea salt and apple cider vinegar is it helps extract the minerals out of the bones. And with the bones, what this is providing you with nutritionally is all kinds of collagen and minerals. And these are really, really important for every cell in your body. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna empty the bones out into here, or the broth, through a strainer. And I'm gonna do the best I can to extract everything. And then you're left with this really concentrated, nutrient-dense broth. This is really different than what you buy at the grocery store. It's not highly processed. And so what you're looking for, if you're like, okay, well, I don't even know what to buy. We eat primarily a plant-centered diet. And what I mean by that is we eat mostly plants. Meat is quite expensive, and especially if you're getting high quality meat. So the highest quality meat that you could get would be pasture raised and or local. And that's because these animals are being raised in an environment where they're eating bugs if they're chickens, and worms and scrubs and grasses and the things that they were intended to eat. And that's how they then become super nutrient dense, both in their meat and in their eggs. So pasture raised and or local would be your first, like, highest tier quality. Your second tier of quality would be organic. So if you can get organic bone-in chicken, that would be great. A couple of things that we do is we either buy whole chickens that we roast, or we buy them cut up in segments and then roast those. And then my family loves chicken wings, so I buy those as well, and then we just save the bones. And the nice thing is we roast most of our chicken, so they've already been roasted, and that gives you a higher flavor content when it comes to the flavor of your broth. So, and then the third tier would be conventional chicken, which is traditionally raised. The third is not going to have as much nutrition because they're a grain-fed animal. They eat mostly corn that's been genetically modified. But you have to decide what's in your budget. We just eat less meat so that we can afford higher quality. And the quality really is dramatically different, especially when it comes to your omega-6s and your omega-3 ratios. A grain-fed animal is going to be significantly higher in omega-6s. And you want really even ratios, and that's what you're going to get with a pasture-raised and more closely with an organic animal. You can do this with beef bones as well. I tend not to prefer the flavor of beef broth, but that's a flavor preference on my part. And then you could also spice up your broth with some vegetables, or even like the ends of your carrots, or stuff you're gonna compost or throw away. That can add flavor. I simply don't often do that because I'm looking for the most cost-effective and the easiest way to make this happen. So the reason I'm showing you how to make bone broth is I'm also gonna use it to make beans. So next I'm gonna show you the first process in beans that I will make for tomorrow.